Blessings and welcome to Eartheart Radio. Finally beginning to awaken from the illusion of separateness and broadcasting live from the KSKQ studios in beautiful Ashland, Oregon. Here's your host, Derek Moody.
And you do hear the part where it says, finally beginning to awaken from the illusion of separateness. I think the whole country and the world is finally starting to awaken from the illusion of separateness because there are no others. You see, when you look at others, it's basically a mirror. It just looks like it's another person, but really, it's like a puppet show, a charade, an illusion, a temporary existence. But yes, I assure you, when you look into the eyes of others, there are no others. Welcome to the Eartheart Radio Show. Moody here. Happy to be here on a Sunday. Today we will talk to a couple of folks in the community. We will play some great music for you, well, in my humble opinion. We will spotlight a saint today, and we will bring you some positive news. Happy to have you along. If you're tuned in, thank you to Avalon Eckhart and Brenda and Chance and Oddly Toddly and Jack Grine and Shawnee Boudoir. Thank you for being at the Eartheart Radio Show. My first guest today is on the phone right now, residing in Ashland, Oregon. Very well known in the area as an activist. He does a whole lot of good for the valley. One of the most humble people I've ever met, also, which is a really good attribute and another reason I look up to him. But let's go ahead and bring him on the phone to speak about Southern Oregon, jobs with justice, and more. It is Jason Houk. Hello, my friend.
Hello, yeah, hi. It's an honor to be here.
You know what? Can you say that again, please?
It is an honor to be here.
Perfect. I got you dialed in. Thanks,
awesome.
Jason. You know,
yeah, you're welcome.
And Jason, for those who don't know, and most do, what shows do you host on KSKQ currently?
Oh, yeah, well, I'm on Tuesday mornings at 11. I do the We the People show. I also host the morning program on Wednesday at 8 a.m., the What's Happening Wednesday. And then you'll also hear me engineering shows like Brain Labor Report, things like that.
Yeah, you do so much at KSKQ. So just from this guy here, thanks so much because, know, you're a leader and you do a lot of good work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Could you tell the listeners that might not be familiar with your nonprofit organization, Southern Oregon Jobs with Justice, another group that does a lot of good that I've witnessed in the last half a decade of living here in Ashland. Can you tell us what the group's all about?
Oh, sure. Our organization is Southern Oregon Jobs with Justice. We've been around for over 10 years. We work to organize groups, unions, religious congregations, students, community organizations with the goal to improve our community standard of living, to improve our job security, and our right to organize.
Wow. How long has the group been in existence?
We got our charter probably about 12 years ago. We were part of a network of organizations. There's Jobs with Justice organizations in, there's a Portland and Eugene, in Bend here in Southern Oregon, and then in most states there'll be folks that are organizing under the Jobs with Justice banner.
So if folks that are tuned in would decide they want to maybe dig deep or even dig shallow to find maybe get some kind of donation sent out to you guys, what does the money primarily get used for? I know I've given money several times and I know where it went, but how do you explain to folks where the money does go to?
Right. Well, I think probably the biggest program that we're supporting, and using community donations is to support our street outreach program. And for many years, folks might be familiar with the Ashland Community Piecemeal that brings volunteers and our most vulnerable communities together for a meal. And as we've also been helping support the winter shelter programs and helping to provide basic resources for this most vulnerable community. And we're talking about our homeless and our folks that are struggling with housing insecurity right here in our community.
Yeah, and I was lucky enough to meet you and your wife, Vanessa, who's been a guest on this show, through the community piecemeals quite a few years ago, I went looking for selfless service organizations, and you were the guys I found. So at the time, I was living in Medford, and I remember traveling to Railroad Park in Ashland, and I couldn't believe what you guys, had going on. And that was our first time ever meeting. And then I kind of got my wife dragged into it, and we've sort of been friends ever since. And, not only us, but so many folks in the community look up to you guys. And I know you're humble and all that, but you do so much good. And where are the peace meals being held now since the pandemic hit? How does how does the food outreach work now?
Yeah, it's been really a challenge for the last 6-7 months. Well, at least since this pandemic has forced us to move a lot of our organizing outdoors. Right now, we're supporting the Ashland meal program that delivers community meals to 5 drop-off locations around Ashland, and along with us, the folks that do the Monday meal, and our partners over at Peace House that do Uncle Food's Diner. Between our 3 organizations, we're able to ensure that there's one hot meal served every day. And as I mentioned, they're dropped off. We can't have people gathering like we used to at Pioneer Hall. So what we do is we make the meals to go, and people can come and get those meals at the drop-off places. And
they always say that you don't know what you're missing until it's gone, and things like that. And boy, even though the community peace meals, sometimes had an underlying sadness, for the most part, it was an underlying happiness of community, people coming together that otherwise wouldn't, people getting love from places they might not otherwise, hot meals, music, talking. I sure miss those groups, man.
Yes, we really miss it. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of stability in this community, places where people can come together, and the peace meals provided a real a safe place where people could come together and rest and get food and nourishment, and it's been hard because those were the places where folks would plug in to get their winter gear, to get long underwear and coats, and so we've been really struggling and really scrambling to make sure folks have the gear that they need to, and now that we have this cold weather in our community.
I woke up today and looked at the upcoming forecast for the next week. I'm like, yep, it's cold.
Yep.
23 and 30 degrees, in the evening. Right. So it's here, man. What about winter shelters? That kind of segues right into that. Where can folks go if they're freezing, or if they're on the streets, or if they're houseless?
Right. Well, of course, we're really fortunate that folks in Ashland, both in our the citizens and our government have made a commitment to protect people during the coldest months. There is a winter shelter program that is managed through the folks over at Options for Helping Residents of Ashland. That one started on November 1st and provides beds for about 45 people. And that shelter is happening over at the Presbyterian Church. In order to get a bed there, you have to go through a vetting process through the Resource Center, and that's at 611 Siskiyou Boulevard. And you go in there Monday through Friday between 9 and 2, and you can see about the winter shelter program. We also, when the weather gets really cold, like it is going to tonight, the city activates an emergency weather shelter program, and it looks like that is going to happen tonight at the where are we? At the Unitarian, the Ashland's First Congregational United Church of Christ. That's over the Peace Church. Folks may be most familiar with that. It's over at 717 Siskiyou Boulevard. They're going to be opening their space starting at 6 p.m. tonight until tomorrow morning, and then again on Monday night, so that the next 2 nights folks can drop in a no-barrier emergency weather shelter, bare bones, but folks will be able to have a warm place to sleep tonight in Ashland. Thanks to Linda Reed, the housing program in Ashland, and others, all the volunteers that are going to make that happen.
Okay, and just one more time, what location is that where the shelters are happening tonight and tomorrow?
Okay, tonight and tomorrow, if you need an emergency winter weather shelter, it's the Ashland First Congregational United Church of Christ also known as the Peace Church in Ashland. It is at 717 Siskiyou Boulevard. They're going to be opening their doors tonight at 6 p.m., and there you can go in and get a no-frills shelter. So masks will be required and will be available. They'll be observing social distancing and all the best practices for emergency shelters in this pandemic. There will not be any bedding available, so if you have a sleeping bag or bedding, you're going to want to bring your own gear.
Yeah.
But that is happening. Yeah, it's, the church is opening their space, and volunteers are coming in to make that happen.
Yeah, and that was my next question. Are volunteers still needed for the shelters or any of the meal outreach programs?
Well, there are. There's always volunteers needed. We've got for tonight. I think the volunteers are lined up for the next 2 nights. But Linda Reed, who's the housing program specialist, she's going to be taking the lead on organizing those winter emergency shelters. So you can call her. She works for the city, and you can always call her at 541-552-2043. Or look up Linda Reed in the City of Ashland directory.
All right, so Linda,
and she could plug you in for winter shelter support.
And if you're listening and you need that again, it's Linda Reed at 541-552-2043. We are talking with Jason Houk right now at KSKQ Radio. If you've just tuned in, you are listening to the Eartheart Radio Show. Derek Moody, the host and producer, and very proud to be on this community station. Make sure you take the time to go to kskq.org if you can, and if you could leave some kind of donation for your favorite community station, it goes a long way to keep us on the air, providing things like this, information where it's needed, entertainment when it's wanted, and much more. So think about kskq.org. Jason, how many people would you speculate or ballpark say are homeless in this area in Ashland? Well,
we do an annual point in time count in February. That's the official count of just of people that are sleeping rough on any given night. And I think that number's always a little low because you can only count the people that are in front of you. So I think we estimate there's between 80 and 100 folks that are regularly sleeping rough in Ashland. These would be people that consider themselves Ashland residents and have been here for a length of time. We also have a community of folks that travel through. Right now, we've had with the pandemic, and then of course the fires, tragic fires, have brought resources in the community. So right now, a lot of the folks that would be sleeping rough are able to get hotels through various agencies, and so a lot of the folks that we normally would see that we'd expect to come to a shelter tonight already have housing. So that's good. Unfortunately, that housing is probably is going to be up at the end of the year, and so we're going to be seeing a lot more folks needing shelter come January. Right now, I think there's 16 people in the emergency shelter, the ORA's weather emergency shelter. So there's still beds there, and that's a long answer for your question.
No, it's a plethora of great information. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, we're actually seeing less folks, needing to come to the meals, and fewer folks that are needing emergency shelter. But that's not to say that there's still not a huge need, and there's a lot of folks that are not able to get, that are still sleeping rough. Yeah.
And I know in the past your group, Southern Oregon Jobs with Justice, has provided hotel rooms for folks that really need it, in a pinch. If folks want to donate to Southern Oregon Jobs with Justice for good causes like this, how do they do that?
Well, it's easy enough. You can always go to our website, sojwj.org, and click on, there's a donate button there on the website. And there's also, you can always give me a call. My number is 541-841-8341. And we would love, to connect if you've got, right now we're gathering winter gear for, coats, sleeping bags, long underwear, socks, things like that. So if folks have, some old gear they want to donate, we're collecting those, and that's really easy. Folks can always take a donation of like that, like clothing or the like, and drop them off at we have a drop box at the Pony Espresso in Ashland.
Okay.
And that is I think I have the address here, don't I? Yeah, I don't have it in front of me, but it's we have a drop box there in the Pony Espresso, and folks can drop off, like clothing and things there.
Okay.
Or always give us a call. We prepare the meals on Thursdays and Fridays for the community meals over there at Pioneer Hall. We're back using that space at least for preparation, so folks can also meet us over there at Pioneer Halls on Thursdays and Fridays between 3 and 5.
Yeah, and there's a lot of folks in the area wanting to be of service, so that's great. You've offered so many opportunities, and you've given some good information. It's Southern Oregon Jobs with Justice, which is SOJWJ online. To reach Jason, it's 541-841-8341. Is there anything else that I haven't covered that you'd like to make people aware of, Jason?
None of the work we could do would be able to be possible without the amazing volunteers and the other folks that are also, carrying a lot of this too. So I just want to thank again, the folks that are doing this work every day, the folks over at Peace House, the folks at the Resource Center, Kathy on the Monday morning, and all the volunteers, because, the reason we're going to have winter shelter these 2 nights is we've got folks in the community willing to give up their rest to be able to stay up and make those spaces available. So we really want to thank all of the volunteers, because that's what makes it all possible. Yeah,
and also Linda Reed is the person to contact if you need information about winter shelters. Her number, 541-552-2043.
Right.
And also want to send another thank you to your wife, Vanessa, for always being so instrumental in everything, and in coordinating this chat today even. That was great.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And as you know, last time I was on the radio with you, we were talking after the tragedy, and we suffered a lot.
Yeah.
And thank goodness, we're just so humbled by the folks that step up, and because other people are able to carry what we can't, all this work gets done. So I've just been so humbled by that.
Oh, I bet. The folks that don't know, Jason and his family lost their home in the fires back in March here in Oregon, and they were, because of the good work you've done, the people want to continue to have the angels like you in the area. So everyone kicked in, and the community helped them find a new home, and it was such a blessing, man. That's so great.
Yeah. We landed a lot softer than others, and we're so aware of that, because we've got thousands of people that are sleeping on couches, that are sleeping with friends, wearing out their welcomes, sleeping in using their savings for hotels, and none of this is sustainable. We have a humongous housing crisis now in our community, and it freaks me out. It just freaks me out.
The universe is very strange, but whenever we put out good energy, good actions, and good thoughts, it seems to come back like a boomerang, like a cosmic boomerang.
That is so true. And if I never was a believer before, I am now, and the power of karma, and you get what you give tenfold. That is so true.
Yeah, it's a fact. It's like I just thought of a good name for maybe a rock band, the Cosmic Boomerang.
Yeah. That's a great name.
Right? Well, thanks so much, man, for I looked forward all week to speaking with you. You're one of my heroes in the community, as your wife Vanessa is, and between me and my wife Tracy, we salute you guys, and everyone else of course does too, Jason. So
thank you. Yeah. I'm so glad to be able to tell folks about shelter this weekend, about the emergency shelter. That just came together, so I'm so glad.
Yep, Southern Oregon Jobs with Justice. If you feel compelled to give some kind of donation to keep these great groups going, and also KSKQ.org is always looking for some help as well of service. And Jason, I hope you have a great Sunday. And
I will.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, take care, bud.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
And there you have it, the great Jason Houk. Yeah, I know they're humble people. So when you say, start giving somebody that's humble that many compliments, it gets to be uncomfortable. So I'd just like to get my quick thank yous in and just, talk about the subjects at hand. And boy, was that a great chat. Lots of information there. Thank you to Jason and Vanessa Houk of the Rogue Valley and the beautiful community here in Southern Oregon that is so resilient, and we have gone through so many things but bounce back instead of breaking.
Be here now. Eartheart Radio, KSKQ.
And my friends, I'm happy to say I received a great package in the mail from our guest from a few weeks ago. You might recall I interviewed the original singer from the early 70s, late 60s of the Bay City Roller Band out of Scotland, right? Well, I've got an autographed copy of the Nobby Clark album, which is really cool, actually. And the album is called If Only. So I thought I'd play a song for you by Nobby Clark. It's a great tune produced by Davey Patton of the band Pilot and another former Bay City Roller. It's a song called To Be Loved. It's Nobby Clark right here at the Eartheart Radio Show and KSKQ Radio.
He's a could have been, but he did it all wrong, thinking that the world should be singing his song. And because he's not all that bright, somebody was sad last night. He's a should have said, but the words didn't come. Now he wants to say what he thought all along, while he held their lives in his hands. Somebody made other plans. He could sing with the heroes and dance in the halls, but you won't see his name on the plaques on the walls, 'cause he never amounted to what you would call a herd of. It's all he ever wanted, to be loved. Against the wall, walked away with nothing, put his foolish pride before the fall. Living in the ruin of a godforsaken dream, won't amount to nothing, talking to the pictures on the wall. Could have been, but he did it all wrong, thinking that the world should be singing his song. And because he's not all that right, somebody was sad last night. He could stand at the shoulder of man and machine, he could fight for a cause he believed he could win, but he couldn't save what he's supposed to have been in care of. But all he ever wanted, to be loved. All he ever wanted, to be loved. All he ever wanted, be loved.
It's Nobby Clark from the album titled If Only at KSKQ Community Radio and the Eartheart Radio Show. I am Reverend Derek Moody. Thanks for being here, and here's another way to support KSKQ. Become an underwriter. If you're a business owner, professional, or run a nonprofit in the Rogue Valley, you can communicate with your target audience and support local radio at the same time by becoming an underwriter. Our thousands of listeners are engaged in their community and are strong supporters of area businesses and organizations. More information about underwriting is available at kskq.org and support community radio in the Rogue Valley. Right now, I will tell you that just ahead I've got the Saint Spotlight. I've got music from Gary Floyd coming up, music from Simrit. And right now I've got somebody on the telephone with me that has been a part of the Eartheart show since it began in August of 2019. She is the co-producer of Eartheart, and it is the one and only Sister Tracy from the Church of Rock radio show. Hello, Sister Tracy.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I was looking forward to your show tonight at 6 o'clock on here on the KSKQ airwaves, but there's a couple new things that happened politically in the last day or two in Oregon, and I've got to get your opinion.
Well,
I think you might know what I mean.
if you're asking for my opinion, I'll give it to you.
What about the decriminalization of drugs in Oregon? It's a very controversial thing. Lots of folks think it's bad. A lot of folks are like, yeah. So what's your take?
Well, I think that if people, I think sometimes people maybe are confused between legalization and decriminalization.
Right.
You know, and I've seen some things online that have said, legalization, which is not the case. You know, this is just something that provides addiction recovery services through the cannabis taxes that our state makes, and basically kind of reclassifies possession for small amounts. And instead of, throwing people right into jail, you basically get a fine for a small amount, and you are encouraged to do treatment. And I think that's a lot better way to handle things than filling up our jails and prisons full of people that maybe just made a mistake, or maybe just, were, young, doing something once, or it's just, I think that we have really gone kind of the wrong route on the war with drugs. Hasn't really seemed to do much good for a lot of people.
No, and it's been very hypocritical, and I'm not going to take this in a negative direction because I could, but I'll keep it positive. And the bottom line is drugs have been decriminalized in Oregon, so people will get the opportunity to get help instead of, because let's face it, even some of the more barbaric countries say American prisons are by far the worst. So if you can avoid going there and you can get help versus, being locked up, I'm all for that.
Well, and what's good about this is it puts money towards, things like, the Oregon State Police will be getting money from this this initiative, as well as mental health services, drug treatment and recovery centers, and as well as schools. State schools fund for education. So that's a good way to spend our revenue. Is on education and on treating people. Yeah, we all know that jail and prison doesn't do a whole lot to rehabilitate. So no. I think rehabilitation makes a lot more sense than a punishment that doesn't work.
Thank goodness for Oregon and making that new thing happen. The other issue I wanted to bring up was the psychedelics thing. I'm not sure how to word this, but I think you know what I mean. What happened with that?
Well, there was the 109 that passed, the initiative that allows, psilocybin to be used by licensed facilities for people who are suffering from depression. and post-traumatic stress disorder and things like that. I know they did a landmark study, and they had a very high success rate of treating people with chronic depression.
Yeah.
With just a couple of, therapeutic sessions with psilocybin. So
may I interject?
I'm all for science. Anything that is backed by science soundly and repeatedly, I think that's a good thing.
Well,
it's a step forward.
The studies that I read are exactly what you're saying, but the one I read was a really good one, and it said basically that all of the antidepressants that are prescribed across, universally, and all of the other things that the AMA might prescribe for depression, they say there's only one real thing that's been proven to alleviate depression and alleviate it like quickly. I mean, sometimes as quickly as 8 hours, and that is with psilocybin or the magic mushrooms, for lack of a better word. But I believe with my own experiments with those things, it's absolutely true.
Well, sure, and indigenous peoples and people have been using these natural medicines for millennia.
Yeah.
For years and years and years, and I think a lot of that has to do with, big pharmaceutical companies. They have money, so why would they give you a cure when they can treat you forever?
There you go. That's the bottom line, man. It's money, huh?
Sadly, I think that is what it comes down to, because, like I said, this is a good initiative. It's in a therapeutic setting. It's for a good reason. So yeah. I just really think that Oregonians have made a good decision and a logical decision in doing that.
Amen.
So
amen. Yeah.
And I hope that people who need the help get the help, because that's what it's there for. So yeah. I don't think that's going to be taking effect for quite some time, a year or two anyway. So we'll see how it goes, and hopefully it'll work well for Oregonians and mental health.
I agree. And tonight at 6 p.m. on your Church of Rock radio show, I hear Duncan Foroff, Bay City Rollers' last frontman, is going to be on the show. I'm excited about that, and I hope everyone will tune in to hear Sister Tracy and the Church of Rock tonight from 6 until 8 p.m. on this very channel.
Yes, absolutely. I hope to hear from some of our listeners tonight.
I think you will. You do an excellent job on the show. You're a great co-producer, co-host, and thanks for taking the time. I know you were up super late working last night, and I know your day is getting started, and I hope I didn't interrupt anything.
No, you sure didn't, and I enjoy listening to Eartheart Radio, so you have a great show, and we'll do some rocking later on.
You bet. Sister Tracy from the Church of Rock, thanks for being here.
All right. Bye-bye.
Right, bye. There you have it, my friends. Sister Tracy with her 2 cents, 3 cents, maybe even 4 cents. I don't know. But she does have more sense than me most of the time. KSKQ has a new sponsor. Listeners who would like to support local community radio can now sign up for local internet services, and by doing so, directly help support this local community radio station. Visit www.sisq.net or call 541-734-2355 to get locally supported high-speed internet in your home or business. In the meantime, my friends, I promised some music from the great Gary Floyd, and that's exactly what I intend on playing for you right now. You might remember Gary Floyd from the Dicks and Sister Double Happiness. He's a pretty well-known vocalist in the world, and one of my favorites. It's the Gary Floyd Band with Never Say Never, right here at the Eartheart Radio Show in KSKQ.
I'll never say never to always. I'll never say always to none. To seem is to dream a dream I love, 'cause one is one is one. For always is all is forever, 'cause one is one none is one. Look inside yourself for your Father. All is none, none is one. It's time to call time from behind you. Illusion has been just a dream. Valley of death, and I'll find you. Now is when on a sunshine beam. So bring on the old perfection, for their love will surely be. No cold, pain, fear, or hunger. You can see, you can see, you can see. You can see, you can see, you can see.
You are at the Eartheart Radio Show in KSKQ with the great Gary Floyd Band with Never Say Never. I'm Moody, and next week on the show I present local Southern Oregon genius songwriter and performer Shibo Torres. Looking forward to that. Now, Shibo was originally going to be on today's show, but he had a gig, so more power to Shibo. But yeah, next Sunday we'll talk with Shibo Torres and we'll hear some of his music, and I can almost guarantee you'll find a soft spot real quick for Shibo because he is one talented cat, I assure you.
Saints, angels, avatars, sages, yogis, holy men, medicine men, helpers, elders, revolutionaries, and advocates of love. Today we honor and show love, respect, and gratitude.
Every single Sunday on the show, I like to pay tribute to another soul temporarily inhabiting a human body via saintlyhood. Yeah, I like saints, and a saint I ain't. Today I'm going to speak about Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. Yeah, Jack Grind, this is for you, my brother. Got to say that my phone is unavailable during the show or before because I'm doing my promotions. So if you need to catch me or speak with me or make a request, you can call the KSKQ line at 541-482-3999 when I'm not talking, and I'll be glad to answer and say hello. Today, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi was born January the 12th, 1918. He was an Indian guru known for developing the transcendental meditation technique and for being the leader and guru of a worldwide organization that has been characterized in many ways, including as a new religious movement and as non-religious. He became known as Maharishi, meaning great seer, and Yogi as an adult. Maharishi became a disciple of Swami Brahmananda Saraswati, the spiritual leader of Yatramath in the Indian Himalayas. In 1955, Maharishi began to introduce transcendental deep meditation, later renamed TM, or Transcendental Meditation, to India and the world. His first global tour began in 1958. Because of his childlike innocence and common laughter, he was sometimes referred to as the giggling guru. Maharishi is reported to have trained more than 40,000 people as a TM teacher, and he taught the meditation technique to more than 5 million people. And he founded thousands of teaching centers and hundreds of colleges, universities, and schools in several different countries, including India, Canada, the USA, and Switzerland. In the late 60s and early 1970s, the Maharishi achieved fame and as the guru to the Beatles, the Beach Boys, and other celebrities. He was giving a lecture, and George Harrison urged their friends to attend. The Maharishi's Natural Law Party was founded in 1992, and he moved to the Netherlands that same year. In 2000, Maharishi created a Global Country of World Peace, a nonprofit organization, and appointed its leaders. In a 2002 appearance on the CNN show Larry King Live, the first time in 25 years that Maharishi appeared in the mainstream media, and he said, "Transcendental meditation is something that can be defined as a means to do what one wants to do in a better way, a right way, for maximum results." In 2003, David Lynch began a fundraising project to raise $1 billion on behalf of Maharishi to build a meditation center large enough to hold 8,000 skilled practitioners. The Maharishi ordered a suspension of transcendental meditation training in Britain in 2005 due to his opposition of Prime Minister Tony Blair's decision to back the Iraq War. On January 12, 2008, his 90th birthday, the Maharishi declared, quote, "It has been my pleasure at the feet of Gurudev to take the light of Gurudev and pass it on in my environment. Now today I am closing my designed duty to Gurudev, and I can only say, long live the world in peace, happiness, prosperity, and freedom from suffering." The Maharishi Mahesh Yogi died peacefully in his sleep of natural causes on February 5th, 2008, at his residence in the Netherlands. The funeral and cremation were conducted in India, overlooking the Ganges River. Long live the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. Thank you for being here at the Eartheart radio show on KSKQ. Every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m., it's a little temple space created for you and for me. Next week, Shibo Torres will be my guest, and I'm very happy about that. One of my former guests is known as Simrit. You might remember last year, Simrit was on tour, and she made a stop here in Ashland, Oregon, gave a really great concert, and I was able to get her CD. It's called When We Return. 7 songs, and just beautiful, man. But track number 4 is the one that I have an interest in today. Yeah, check it out. It's Simrit, and it's a song called Just a Glance. This goes out for DJ Starlight from KSKQ and the Eartheart radio show. the one and only Simrit from the When We Return album. Beautiful music there. Thank you, Simrit. You're at KSKQ and the Eartheart radio show, and that is going out for my BCR buddy over in Cambridge, England, Annalise. If I'm pronouncing your name wrong, you can punish me later, but I think it's Annalise. Annalise? Either way, you know who I'm talking about, and I appreciate you tuning in all the way across the pond. Yeah, she sent me some great roller stuff for my collection too, by the way, so thank you kindly for those magazines that I was able to purchase, that you were kind enough to make available to this Rollers fanatic. You're at the Eartheart radio show, and it's about time for some positive news. What do you say?
Please let go of your fear. Positive news is here. Things aren't as bad as it seems, no matter what they say. News with an agenda is meant to instill fear. True news can instill hope.
That's right, man. I like to bring the positive news stories to contradict some of the negative stuff we read and hear about on a daily basis. So I did a little research, and I got some stuff to share with you, and I hope it's stuff that is worthy of being on positive news. For those dog lovers, and I know there's lots of us, a dog mountain retreat in St. Johnsbury, Vermont, USA, has been attracting dog lovers and their pups for almost 20 years, and leashes are an option. It features swimming pools, a doggy agility course, and a canine art gallery. But it's perhaps the chapel that has become most famous, with its walls adorned by notes, pictures, and poems commemorating beloved canine friends who have passed away. It's a traditional New England-looking chapel where people can come and remember their dogs, celebrating the bonds they had between them and their pets after they pass. People visit from all over the world. The lush grounds are set on 150 acres of private mountaintop and open all year round, even these days, for free. So the public can enjoy some socially distanced dog fun. Dogs are free to run and play, swim, and meet other dogs. And they're not just welcome there, they are cherished. The nonprofit organization known as Friends of Dog Mountain created and runs this retreat, and it's done so in the memory of its original creators who have now passed on. Yeah, it was originally designed by American artist Stephen Houk and his wife Gwen. They bought the property in 1995 and began building the Dreamy Dog Sanctuary, and it is still thriving today. I love dogs. My 7-year-old Corgi Terrier is Jet, and she's listening right now. So hello, Jetson. All right, positive news number 2. There's a common weed stopping the growth of breast cancer cells. Good news, guys and girls. A plant which previously has been dismissed as not doing medically useful could prove to be a hero in disguise after scientists discovered that it stops the growth of breast cancer cells. This groundbreaking research, which leads to future chemotherapy cancer advances, sometimes known as Arabidopsis or Thalecress. The leaves treated with the plant hormone jasminate, a substance discovered in jasmine that does boost plant responses to stress. Then they incubated the treated leaves with breast cancer cells. The researchers found that not only did the cancer cells stop growing, but the normal cells remained unaffected. This is very significant because use of the plant in breast cancer treatment could potentially lead to a quicker recovery time and fewer secondary effects for patients subjected to chemical treatment. Professor Alessandra Devoto from the Department of Biological Sciences at Royal Holloway University has been conducting this research since 2006, and studies will continue so that more breaks may benefit mankind to relieve the suffering on a mass scale. Blessings to all suffering from or loved ones suffering from any kind of cancer. Positive news number 3. Number 3. New studies are showing garden areas do improve the immune systems of daycare children in just a month. Yep, a study in Finland showed for the first time that the immune system of children aged 3 to 5 improved when forest undergrowth, lawns, and planter boxes were added outside daycare centers. Dozens of comparative studies have previously found that children who do live in rural areas and are in contact with nature have a lower probability of catching an illness resulting from disorders in the immune system. The recent study shows that repeated contact with nature-like elements 5 times a week diversified the body's microbes, which offered protection against diseases transmitted through the immune system in daycare children. The study was published in Science Advances. The study also says that children's motor skills and the ability to concentrate will also improve with the close relationship to nature. When we are in contact with nature, we expose ourselves to a broad range of microbes affecting different parts of our defense system. Researchers do suggest leaving autumn leaves to decompose naturally rather than raking them away after they fall into the ground, and they say to allow fallen tree limbs to decay naturally on the ground. Aki Sinkanen, research scientist for the study, said, quote, "It would be best if children could play in puddles, and we could take our children out to nature 5 days a week. It would have an impact on the microbes." And yes, the times they are a-changin', my friends. Here's Baba Bhagavan Das with a tune called Govinda at the Eartheart Radio Show in KSKQ.
Bhaj Gopal Kesav Madhav Deenadaya Bhaj Govinda 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 Bhaj Gopal Kesav Madhav Deenadaya Bhaj Govinda
Bhaji Gopala Kesava Madhava Nilarayana Bhaji Govindam Bhaji Gopala Kesava Madhava Nilarayana Bhaji Govinda 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 Bhaji Gopala
You've been listening to Eartheart Radio with your host, Derek Moody. Eartheart Radio is produced by Derek Moody in association with Sister Tracy and Krishna Consciousness. Please tune in every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific Time for more Eartheart Radio.